Welcome back to Boundless Books. Today, we're diving into Chapter 5 of the Odyssey, titled Odysseus, Nymph and Shipwreck. This chapter shifts the focus directly to Odysseus, revealing his long captivity and the dramatic turning point that finally sets him back on his journey home. The story begins on Mount Olympus, where the gods gather once more to discuss the fate of Odysseus. Athena, who has always supported him, passionately reminds Zeus that Odysseus has been suffering for far too long. Trapped on a distant island, he has no way to return home to Ithaca. Zeus agrees that it is time for his journey to resume and sends Hermes, the messenger god, to deliver into the nymph Calypso. Meanwhile, Odysseus remains stranded on the island of Ogygia, held captive by the beautiful but possessive nymph Calypso. Although she offers him immortality and eternal youth if he stays with her, Odysseus longs only for home, his wife Penelope and his kingdom. Every day, he sits on the shore, gazing out at the endless sea, grieving and yearning for Ithaca. Hermes arrives on Ogygia and finds Calypso in her lush cave, surrounded by nature's beauty, flowing streams, fragrant flowers, and divine comfort. However, despite her divine status, she is not pleased with the gods' decision. She protests that gods often punish goddesses for loving mortal men, yet she has no choice but to obey Zeus's command. Reluctantly, she agrees to release Odysseus. Calypso informs Odysseus that he is finally free to leave. At first, he is suspicious, unsure whether this is another trick. But Calypso reassures him and even offers to help him build a raft. She provides him with tools, food, and guidance. Over several days, Odysseus works tirelessly, cutting trees and constructing a sturdy raft strong enough to survive the journey ahead. Once the raft is ready, Calypso gives him provisions, food, water, and clothing, and sends him off with favorable winds. For the first time in years, Odysseus is sailing toward home. Guided by the stars, he travels steadily across the sea for 17 days, hopeful and determined. However, his journey is far from over. The sea god Poseidon, who harbors deep anger toward Odysseus for blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus, spots him sailing peacefully. Furious that Odysseus has been allowed to escape, Poseidon unleashes a violent storm. The sea turns chaotic, massive waves crash against the raft, winds howl, and the sky darkens. Odysseus struggles to maintain control, but the storm is overwhelming. His raft begins to break apart under the force of the waves. In despair, Odysseus wishes he had died a hero's death in the Trojan War rather than face this slow and terrifying end at sea. Just when all hope seems lost, the sea goddess Ino, also known as Leucothea, appears and takes pity on him. She gives Odysseus a magical veil and instructs him to abandon the raft, trust the sea, and swim toward land. Though hesitant, Odysseus eventually follows her advice. The raft is destroyed, and Odysseus is thrown into the raging sea. For 2 days and nights, he battles the waves, clinging to life with sheer determination. Athena secretly aids him by calming the winds and guiding him toward the land of the Phaeacians. Finally, exhausted and nearly lifeless, Odysseus spots land. However, reaching the shore is not easy. Sharp rocks and strong currents threaten to crush him. With great effort and divine guidance, he finds a safer place and manages to reach the shore. Barely alive, Odysseus crawls onto the land, kisses the ground in gratitude, and collapses in exhaustion. Seeking shelter, he finds a pile of leaves in a forest and buries himself within them for warmth and protection. At last, after immense suffering, he falls into a deep sleep, safe for the moment, but still far from home. Key moments in the chapter: Zeus decides it is finally time to free Odysseus. Hermes delivers the command to Calypso. Odysseus builds a raft and leaves Ogygia. Poseidon creates a deadly storm at sea. Ino helps Odysseus survive with a magical veil. Odysseus reaches the land of the Phaeacians and finds safety. Differences between the book and adaptations: many adaptations shorten Odysseus' stay with Calypso, but the epic emphasizes his long emotional suffering. The detailed raft building process is often skipped or minimized in films. Ino's role is sometimes removed or replaced with simpler rescue elements. The intense struggle at sea is usually less detailed in visual adaptations compared to Homer's vivid description. Chapter 5 marks a powerful turning point in the Odyssey. Odysseus finally leaves captivity, but his journey proves that freedom does not come easily. The sea becomes a symbol of both hope and danger, testing his endurance and willpower. Despite divine obstacles and relentless storms, Odysseus survives, bringing him one step closer to Ithaca.